There we go. All right, guys. So welcome today to this fun little thanks.io strategy session. We haven't done one of these in a little while, so we're gonna get back in the groove here. And Kevin Donlin here is the perfect way to kick these sessions back off again, because this guy knows a lot about direct mail, and particularly Kevin. I'll let you tell your story, but copywriting in particular, right? So.
Yeah, it is what I do. Copywriter is someone who writes words that sell. Some people think I work in Washington, D.C. and I draw circles around the letter C.
Yeah.
That is a real question I get, actually. Do you make copyrights? I get that. And not so much anymore, but no, I work in my basement. I write words that sell. Today, we're going to be talking about the paper email, which is a clever little thing I accidentally invented. But I've been in marketing for 30 years now, come maybe November. So it was 30 years ago. I may have sold the first ebook. I do a lot of things accidentally. And then if it works, shit, I'd better capitalize on this thing, you know? So I sold an ebook. There was no web. It was this thing called Usenet, which was a precursor of Reddit. And I won't bore you with the details, but I made some beer money selling a text file by email.
Was it like a Word doc, like a TXT or a
No,
PDF or something?
TXT. It was a text file, and you couldn't advertise directly on Usenet in 1994. You had to post helpful comments, and then only in your signature file could it say, "Hey, looking for a job? Send me an email, and I'll show you how to find a job on the internet." That was the job. That was the title of the ebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1994, I was like a sophomore in high school. I think that's interesting you bring up that date though, because I can remember the internet websites I was trying to look at. I'll let you guys imagine what they were, loading very slowly.
Oh yeah.
At 16 years old. And so you're an internet OG. You're up to speed on pretty much anything internet marketing, but you go old school with mail
Right.
more often than not.
Yeah, I since about 2000, 1998. 2000, the turn of the century, let's say, I started getting into to direct mail. I was strictly online and email for the first 6 years or so. And again, accidentally, I had some success sending sales letters. You know, I started anything worth doing is worth doing badly at first. That's a good thing to remember. That's from Gary Halbert. And so I was really bad. But look, if anyone watching this, if you've ever sold anything in person, it's a matter of taking those words, getting them on paper or on video. If you can sell one, you can sell many. It's just a matter of capturing the right message and disseminating it more widely. So email and tangible stuff in the mail, like engraved knives, for example, anything that's going to be physical and tangible in the year 2024 or even later, it's going to be more believable and more credible, yeah, than anything that you see on screen right now. So as brilliant as Ryan and I am here, we're on screen. You can't touch us. You have to trust that there are these two guys with ideas that might
And
work.
soon we'll just be AI anyway. I don't even know that I'm real anymore.
And anything that you can get into the prospect's hands, and thanks, IO does a tremendous job of this. The same message on paper and in your hands is by definition more credible, more tangible, more believable than the same message on screen. So that's a short answer. And I've made 6 figures for clients, 7 figures for clients by direct mail. I have one client grow from about 15 million to $102 million in annual revenue by getting one message and mailing it nationwide. And so that was a fun thing that we did by mail. So today we'll be talking about one little special slice of that called the paper email. But lots to talk about today. Happy to answer any questions. I'll stay pretty much for the next hour. I think I'm good. I have a hard stop at the top of the hour, but I'll shut up. So you drive, Ron.
Yeah, no problem. That's a great intro. I just wanted to, everybody understand who you are and what you do. You're primarily a consultant. I will mention you tend to work with B2B companies who probably have revenue in the little bit higher end, right?
Yeah, it's typically 500,000 to 20 million are my clients, and they're typically B2B. However, I have tools available for smaller size businesses. I do occasionally consult with the right client who's got something that I know that I can help. So those are my sweet spots, though, 500,000 to 20 million, anywhere from 2 to 100 employees. And you've got to be, I think everyone here qualifies, at least for the direct mail part. You've got to be at least direct mail curious. You can't want to do everything online because I can't help you.
Yeah. So you can see my screen with the little bullet points here. Kevin, just to
Yeah.
confirm, I was kind of playing around with it there, guys, I thought it might not be working. So anyway, we've done Kevin's quick intro. I'm gonna let you explain now what the paper email is. And I don't know,
Mhm.
do you want me to bring up an image maybe from that LinkedIn post or something, or
Well, I've got a couple of hard copies here.
okay,
I don't
I'll
know how
stop sharing. Yep.
they'll look on screen, but if you want to, if you feel that you want to share something I've
You can
posted,
hold them up, that'll do. And I'll let you
okay,
explain what the paper email is. Yep.
sure.
Yep.
So just like selling an ebook in 1994 was 2009, I wanted to get a message to Seth Godin. I had just seen him speak at a marketing conference, and I was writing an email to him, and I was about to hit the send button. I said, "Wait a minute. There's about 200 other people who were there today are going to send him an email. He's going to get bombed. He'll never read this." So this being 2009, I go, "I wonder if I could fax it to him. That would be clever." As people had fax machines, I did. And so I went to his website, no fax number. Um, and then I thought, well, FedEx would be cool. I'd send it 3 day. It's very affordable. But his mailing address was a post office box, and FedEx did not deliver to post office boxes at that time. I think they still don't. So I thought, all right, a fax is a letter delivered by telephone. So I was just trying to fill in the blank. An email delivered by what other way could work? And I thought, well, US mail. And so instead of hitting the send button, I hit the print button. I printed the email. I put it inside of a thank you note. And by the way, a
Okay.
thank you note is a poor man's FedEx. Anything coming in a square envelope like this is 100% open rate. You
Yeah.
can't fail to get it open. If it gets delivered, if you got the right address, this will get open. Nothing bad ever comes in a small square envelope. It's not a bench warrant for your arrest. It's not a letter. It's not a letter from your ex-wife's or ex-husband's attorney. Good news only. So you've actually engineered the recipient to be in a good mood when they read your message. So I took my email and I printed it. It did not have the headline paper email. I'll explain this in a minute, but it pretty much looked like this. It was Seth. Hey, thanks so much, yada yada, and I signed it. It's a very brief email, but I printed it and put it in the thank you note. And about a week later, I got a phone call. Hey, Kevin, it's Seth Godin.
Nice.
And it was voicemail, unfortunately, because I have a policy. I just don't answer my phone. So I've missed interviews with CNN this way. There's a downside, but I missed his call. Oh, okay. And he said, Kevin, it's Seth Godin. I just got your super nice note. Really appreciate it. Just want to let you know I got it. That was his voicemail. I go, well, that was interesting. So, this happened accidentally, and it's a pretty cool thing. What else can I do with this? So that's when I decided to be more systematic about paper emails. So basically, a paper email is an email that you want to make sure gets delivered. And you want to make sure it gets delivered tangibly. So if you've ever written an effective email that got results, that can be your first paper email. So the format is very simple. You just take that email that you're pretty sure is going to work, and you just give it this title at the top, paper email. Sign it, and in blue ink is best, and mail it. Now, if you want it to get open, I would suggest sending it inside of a thank you note. And the whole message in your thank you note can be, thank you for reading this paper email. And then they read the paper email. So that, just don't overthink it. That's the deal. And of course, you guys have your own format that you use. But
Well,
if you've sent an email, the trigger for this can be if you've sent an email to someone and they ignored you and it's a high value prospect, um, that's a perfect time to try the paper email. It's an email you really want to get read, and you've sent it and got no response. Then you just take the same email and just change the opening and say, hey, Ryan, I sent you this email last Wednesday. Don't think you got it. I wanted to make sure. Here it is. And then it's the same original message from your last email. So just
so
print it, a little intro.
so this is super intriguing to me because these days, we've got our platform, but also a lot of the CRMs and marketing automation systems would allow you to send the cold email if you're using
Mhm.
high level or instantly,
Right.
whatever CRM. And with automation, you could then trigger, if they didn't open the original email, you could then
That'd
trigger
be,
this. Huh?
that'd be why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
and it's really cool. I love the red paper email up top because it's kind of funny.
well, you
It's
guys
like,
can do magic that I can't do. So here's the deal. And, so paper email, this sets up a phone call, by the way. I don't do it because I'm too busy, but last summer I wanted to take on some new clients. I had a woman doing appointment setting for me. I mailed these out, and she would call people and say, hey, Ryan, it's Jill calling from Kevin Donlin's office. Did you get the paper email we sent you? and it was laughter or
Yeah.
huh. So what you can do if you got them on the phone, just bam, send it to them in their email. So we'll check your email. I just resent it. So you can
Okay.
send it that. But it's a conversation starter. Did you get my paper email? I guarantee you no one has received any phone call in their life that started with, did you get my paper email? So you're going to be intriguing and you can have fun with them too. There are a million and one ways to do this. This is a good one that gets great results for me. I include a picture of my dog at the bottom,
Yeah.
and dogs are great for this. And it says, meanwhile, to make sure you remember this paper email, I've included a picture of my dog, Hulk. If I don't hear from you, I'll be in touch by email or phone and ask, did you see my dog? That was another great conversation opener. If you call and say, did you see my dog? Huh? He was in the paper email I sent you today. Oh, yeah. Or what do you mean? And then just check your email. I just sent it. So again, this is a way to set up a phone call that's really going to
Yeah.
resonate and get through to people. You don't
And
have to make calls, but it's going to be really effective if you do.
so the dog is giving them something visual. So you're going multiple modalities here. They're touching the letter. Um, they
Yeah,
got the dog.
yeah, the dogs are nice. This is me, the copywriter, because I also included a PS.
Yeah.
Again, the original paper email is very crude, but it's a paper email. So if you,
What would you say to printing out like the whole screen with like Gmail or Outlook?
yeah, I would consider doing that. I believe
Yeah.
that was my very first one to Seth Godin. It was I was using Outlook back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say go ahead and try it. Again, don't overthink it is the big thing, because this is what I tell people is that a lot of people have tried direct mail in the past and they found it complicated or expensive. The paper email just bypasses all excuses because it gives you all the advantages of direct mail without the hassle. It's simple, obviously low cost, no copywriting skills, no big budgets. You've already written emails before that have worked, so just pick one of those, and no spam filter. And
Yeah.
you get blacklisted for cold emailing people. So that's why I suggest you might want to give it a try.
We tend to have a lot of real estate agents in our audience, and network marketers, people who you might generate a lot of leads online, and it's kind of crickets. You don't get a lot of responses to your drip sequences, your drip emails. So I could definitely see either through automation or not, if you do a disposition of your new leads and you see that somebody is pretty legit and you really want them as a prospect, then you just go and fire this out. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So best practices for messaging and copy. Keep it short and sweet. Don't talk about yourself too much. Like is there some kind of hook or offer or reason why or benefit why I need to call you right now?
Sure. There are two levels to this. One is, again, if you've ever had an email that worked, basically use that as your starting point.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. And having said that, of course, you want to observe, good copywriting principles. When in doubt, there's the old acronym AIDA: attention, interest, desire, and action. So here's your attention getting the head paper email. I have your attention and interest. Ryan, I sent you an email yesterday, but didn't hear back from you. Life happens, I understand. So there's interest. And then desire is, you may be struggling to sell your home. Three people in your neighborhood were too, but they all hired me. And now they got top dollar. And then action, would love to have a 5-minute conversation with you. And if you don't find a whole bunch of interest in our conversation, I'll send you a $10 Starbucks card,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm just
Something.
writing it off the top of my head, but attention, interest, desire, action, and be very clear. Here's what you should do. Here's what to do now. Visit this link and set up a call. So have your schedule link very clean and easy that it's impossible to misread it, because you can't click on a paper email.
Yeah.
So I have something that they can't botch. Or send me an email or give me a call. A very good copywriting principle to keep in mind is the more options you give people to respond, the higher your response. So visit this website to set up a conversation, or just send me an email, or call or text this number. That's 4 modalities there, 4 response mechanisms. So more ways to respond to you will always increase your response. That's the final bit of advice. Again, I can go for an hour just on copywriting. People can and should. You can Google me. I've written on almost every copywriting subject in the last 25 plus years. But yeah, good copywriting principles. What's going to carry the day here, though, is the medium. The medium is the message. That's the title of the book. Because here you've got their attention and their interest. you're halfway done. If you've got them going, what is this? No one looks at their email with a whole lot of intrigue anymore or desire. And if you remember back in 94, when I started marketing by email on America Online, they had this little thing that said, you've got mail. It was exciting to get email 30 years ago. And now we dread email. We don't want to see any more email, but we're all happy to go to our mailbox because there's only two or three things in there on any given day. So you're going
Yeah.
to stand out immediately, especially if it comes in a small square envelope. If you just got a whole boatload of number 10 business envelopes, that's fine. Use those. If you've got questions about envelopes and such, I can go into detail. But I know you guys have some really good integration too that makes this easy for people. So that's certainly something that they should take advantage of.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have a little fun now. While you were talking, I was typing out. Let's have a little fun. I was typing out a paper email in my Gmail.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Maybe increase it a bit,
Yeah, let me
but it's obviously not War and Peace. Yeah,
no, it's pretty short. It's got my signature. So I've gone ahead and mailed you the email too. Like, would I do that?
you could, yeah, that may be redundant. If they reply to the email, then they're also going to
Yeah.
get the paper email. So I would tend to say, use this if they've ignored the email that you have there.
Right.
Uh, but if you want to say, look, yeah, I'm in the interest of being thorough. I'm mailing this to you the same day I'm sending it to you by
Okay.
email. One way or another, you're going to hear from me within 24 hours if you're local. So you can do it,
Sure.
use that as your excuse. I wanted to be absolutely positively sure. So I sent you this email. And also you're reading this. If you're reading this on paper, it means you got the paper email version. So I'm just making that up.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but that's a valid idea. That's a valid reason. I'm doing both at the same time. And I
Yep.
could riff on this, that's an example of how thorough I am as a marketer. Here at thanks.io, we don't cut corners. We have multiple redundancies. We want to make sure things work for you. So blah blah blah. So you can actually run with that idea. I'm not only sending this to you, by email, but I'm also printing and mailing it to you right now. That could work.
Yep. So I'm gonna actually just because I told everybody to show them, I'm gonna do this in thanks really quickly here. I got too many. So I'm gonna go to my windowless letters and I'm gonna design the paper email. So I just took a screenshot of that, Kevin, the email,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm just gonna upload the screenshot that I took,
That's fast.
hopefully.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna like fit it in here in Canva. Here we go. It's gonna look small on your screen, guys. I understand that, but it'll look bigger here in a minute. And then I'm
Cool.
gonna put the paper email heading up top, right?
Hmm. Paper email, read it, all capital letters,
Yeah,
bold.
with red and bold, right? So it really stands
That's right.
out.
Bingo. How hard was that?
Not hard at all. And then I could in the bottom just be like, I could do additional stuff on the bottom or something, like a PS or whatever.
This is always a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm vibing on the idea of like the screenshot of my compose from Gmail because everybody sees that all the time anyway, right?
I
So
like that. I like that.
yeah. So I'm gonna hit save, and this will be saved into the system. Okay. And then I can literally, guys, and I think a lot of people here are familiar with how Thanks works, but I could basically say, hey, whenever somebody hits this particular mailing list or lead list, I could have a campaign rule that says just trigger my paper email 7 days later.
Hmm.
So I would just choose that image template, that message template, and it would just go out in the mail like that. Or of course, I could push it out manually to people one at a time using the step-by-step wizard. So I just wanted to run through that very quickly for everybody watching, just to show you implementation-wise how you'd use our platform. But you could also just print it out and as Kevin said, stuff it in an envelope and get it out the door pretty quickly, right?
Well, of course. But what you just did is brilliant because you make it once and send it a million times. So it took
Yeah,
you 2 minutes to create a template that you could just put into your campaign,
yeah,
customize the intro, the name, what have you. That's just a beautiful thing. And I love the idea of triggering it in case people don't open your original email. That's
yeah.
just so set it and forget it. I love that.
Yeah, and that could be done with a lot of these automation systems. You also did mention that it's good in a note card, and I could have easily just put that image inside of our folded note card as the creative,
Okay.
itself, if the paper email was short enough.
Mhm. So
So
I'm going to go off the board here. And so you talking about being creative. If you wanted to put an image inside of a thank you note, I've not done this, but you just sparked an idea. Might call it a paper text, right? I didn't want to bombard you with the election's coming up. You probably get 10 texts a day asking to donate money. I don't want to be a pest. So I'm sending you this paper text and put it in a thank you note. Just made that up. Anyone can run with that idea.
I love it. Just a screenshot of your phone. So you just
Yeah.
take the screenshot of your phone and do that. Yeah.
But a text, yeah, you can. There are 1,000,001 text generators online where you can generate what looks like a text. Take a screen capture of that, put it into your system, upload it, and make it inside of a note card. I would test that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So you heard it here first, folks. There's never been a paper text before, although I do own the domain because I thought about this idea years ago.
Yeah.
Paper text, you run with it.
Nice. Paper SMS, paper text. So guys who are watching now, who's going to do the paper email? We haven't had a lot of comments or questions. This is pretty fresh stuff and a new way of looking at mail, the email itself. So comment and let us know what you think. If you have any questions, let us know. The other thing, Kevin, so this is just one of the tricks in your bag and I think the website's client cloning systems.
Clientcloningsystem.com. Mm-hmm.
And you did introduce yourself, but a lot of what you're doing is about retaining and maybe generating more referrals. You want to talk a little bit more about how this fits into an overall kind of.
Sure. Yeah. I help clients, with the acquisition, getting and getting new clients, and then keeping them, of course, with retention, and then getting repurchases and referrals. So I know I do the whole life cycle of acquisition, repurchase, and retention. But what we're talking about here, you started at the beginning. I don't know if everyone saw that, but you were showing your engraved Swiss Army knife that I sent you. Right.
Yeah.
So that's an example of retention. And it goes to the idea that not all clients are created equal, not all prospects are created equal. You want to read this is a true letter, by the way, the little note that I wrote in there, because it's
Yeah.
all. Yeah, I love to
I'll read
stick to
it.
the truth because you don't have to remember making stuff up. This is a true statement that I sent to Ryan. Go ahead and read that.
So, dear Ryan, why did I send you the Swiss Army knife? Because when you open it up, you'll find it has 9 tools. No, you're not a tool. Did you see the Facebook post? I mentioned that I was a tool recently
No.
in the Facebook post. So yeah, you're one of my top 9 referral partners. So I thought this life would be an appropriate way to say thank you for your referral. So I sent you a few people.
Yeah.
Also, with any luck, it will arrive on around the 24th. So I got it yesterday, I
Cool.
think. Yep. Making it Christmas in July. I like that touch. That was, I don't know if anybody can see that. The bold right there says Christmas in July, which is fitting and proper because you deserve a surprise holiday. Thanks for being such a great person. I appreciate you. And then you signed it. Did you actually sign that, or is this like a system you
That's
use?
me. So what I did was I signed all of those, all 9 of them, and I FedExed them to my assistant, and then she put them in the mail.
Okay.
So if you're, it's you can have the same personal touch and certainly upload a signature. I know that you guys do that at scale. In this case, if it's 9 people and I'm not doing the mailing, I felt obligated. You don't have to, but that's just something that I wanted to do. But something like this to just tell people how much you appreciate them and show them how much you appreciate them and tangibly do it and personalize too. The personalization is a big deal. So I try to make things, personal to the person getting them. So some people get Javalia coffee because that's their favorite coffee. One of my guys, I sent him turf from what's the Lambeau Field in Green Bay. He's a Packer fan, and it was, Lambeau Field grass. Here you go, Tim. I love you. And so he just loved it. So it doesn't take a whole bunch of creativity. I have an assistant who helps me. But you can do this on a very small scale. This is axiomatic. 80% of your revenues are going to come from about 20% of your clients. 80% of your referrals are going to come about 20% of your referral partners. So I've got 9 people who send me 80% of my referrals, and right now you're one of those 9. So you're going to get goodies. And
So you all in with me, you've sent me 4 or 5 pieces I just want to give people an idea because I haven't gotten off the fence on doing this kind of stuff myself outside of thanks, but
Mhm.
wrapping my head around it. Have you spent $100, maybe a little more?
That to you was about with the engraving and the FedEx, maybe 70. I had a budget for this though.
Yeah,
It might be
but
75 bucks.
but in the 4 or 5 touches you sent me, not everything's been this
No.
elaborate. You're
Oh,
spending a couple $100. Yeah.
if that 100, 110 maybe. It's been not that expensive. I don't think I've sent, that's the only FedEx I've sent you. By the way, FedEx is, I used to work for FedEx, right? Full disclosure, I don't own any stock in the company. So
Yeah.
I always bring up FedEx. I was their webmaster for 2 years. So I worked at FedEx.com. The website had 6 web pages when I was there, 6, and now there's like 6,000.
Yeah.
But FedEx can also be a way to deliver your paper email because not only does the thank you note have 100% open rate, but so does every FedEx envelope. So I use FedEx and don't send it overnight. That would to reach you overnight would have cost like $70,
Yeah.
but to reach you by 3 day, which is how this came, that was like $8.90 because I have an account. So
Okay.
same reaction when you get a FedEx letter, ooh, you drop everything and open it. But instead of paying 70, I paid less than $9. So this is it's very it can be cost effective.
So
So yeah.
so I'm thinking about like real estate in particular. You get a
Mhm.
$1 million listing lead, or somebody
Mhm.
refers you $1 million listing lead. No
Yeah,
brainer. Spend a few $100, send a few
you got
things
to do
like,
something.
yeah.
And it's the, it's probably the best marketing money you can spend is it's a principle of psychology 101. It's positive reinforcement. Someone does something good for you, you reward them. And you can send an email, for a referral of like a $10,000 project, a $10 Starbucks card is rather inadequate to say
Yeah.
the least.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
$1 million listing, a basket of fruit, kind of inadequate. So you can do better. And I have an informal budget of about 5% of every client project that goes back into retaining that client over time. So
5 to 10%. Yeah.
about five.
Yeah.
And
So
I have one referral partner who sent me close to $250,000 in projects over the last 12 years. He gets a lot of stuff from me.
I'm gonna I'm gonna beat him.
He
So just letting you know,
gets a lot of stuff, and I'm
I'm
happy.
I'm gonna win.
If he meets me at a conference, he goes, "Yeah, Donlin's buying my lunch. I don't have. He doesn't even have to. He's set because Donlin's going to take care of him. So it's not hard, but it's so I can go on about retention. This is the paper email, folks, of course, but once you've got someone in your world, don't lose them.
Yeah.
So retention is just it's plugging leaks. If you're in a boat and it's sinking, plug the leak. You can bail, but plug the leak. And so people who leave your business, back to real estate. I've used the same real estate agent twice, love the guy. I've never heard from him since 10, 15 years ago. I needed him to do an appraisal after we bought the house. Nothing. What would it cost, to send me a postcard every month? I may not be wanting to sell my house, but I may know someone who is, and you'll be top of mind. I just love the guy, but don't hear from him. So,
Yeah.
it's not that hard.
So a good place to start. I mean, even with the paper emails, but if you just identify 10 to 20 high value people you've worked with or people you'd like to work with, it's not
Right.
hard to get started with this. Yeah.
People like the idea of farming a neighborhood in real estate, or Dream 100 is a great concept by Chet Holmes about finding 100 prospects you want to do business with you and then touching them every month with direct mail. But again, you're overlooking the people who have already given you their money. They've already given you the trust. You're over the goal line, you've scored, and then you want to run the other direction basically and go another 100 yards, to use a
I'm
football.
I'm super guilty of it. We've got, and I've talked to you about this, we've probably got 30 or 40 people who've used thanks.io who are, it's the 80/20 or the 90/10,
Yeah.
and they need to get something better than a $10 Starbucks gift
I have
card.
a coaching call. So I have a coaching call in about an hour and a half with a guy, and part of it is about growing your business from the inside. It's a concept I call inside marketing, surprisingly enough. And I asked him, tell me, on one call, I said, tell me who your top 10 clients are. He said, no idea. So he came back the next call. I know who they are, got them. I go, how often, when's the last time you ever met them? He said, I've never met any of them. I said, okay. Have you seen them on video, done a Zoom? No. All right. So I wasn't being judgmental. I said, all right, big opportunity here. So he went on a trip to Europe. I said, you're buying beer coasters in Munich, and you're gonna bring them, something mailable. You're buying 10 of something, and you're gonna come home and mail little gifts to these people, and then we're gonna call them, and then you're gonna do a Zoom with them. So we're mapping out a schedule where he's gonna get to know his top 10 clients. He's never met them. But what an opportunity, because everyone else, he's right now lumped in with everyone else who's just a vendor, and it's just a website, just an email, but he's going to become a person very soon. And the old axiom, it's true, it's old because it's been around forever. We do business with people we know, like, and trust, and like is a big part of that. So why not give your clients an opportunity to like you? And it starts with a Zoom like this. That's probably the one upside to the whole COVID pandemic, is we all started doing Zoom.
Yeah.
And you now have to be comfortable doing Zoom, or you are working at McDonald's. You can't run a business if you don't want to talk to people like this. So this is a great opportunity to meet people, and it's free.
Yeah.
This costs money and time, but the Zoom is free. So anyway, I can go on.
So, I don't really, the idea here wasn't really to pitch anything. I wanted to share the paper email ideal with the Thanks.io community, because it's something you can implement using a platform, or you implement it without it. We don't really care, but you have a very expensive micro course about the paper email that includes that includes some templates, right? So what's in this thing? You got some templates, some instructions, and an explainer video.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's the astronomical price of 700 pennies.
yeah, it's
$7.
$7, guys. I would check it out just to learn a little more. I would do it if for no other reason than to get on Kevin's email list, because mailing list, because I'm sure they end up on your mailing list if they order something.
You wouldn't, as if people have ordered from Canada, and I don't do direct mail in Canada because Canada Post has got some hurdles, to put
Yeah,
it mildly. But if you are watching this from Canada, you can make direct mail work, certainly. I'm just going to
yeah.
put it in the chat if people want to click on it at some point. But yeah, that's all my best ideas, and it's got an explainer video. You could be mailing these tomorrow. But really, this is if you really want to make it dead simple and easy for you, but it's as easy as printing an email and putting it in an envelope. If you want
Yeah.
to take it, the paper email micro course is a great little starter.
I don't know where it went, but I had abandoned this page earlier, and then I went back to it, and you had 4 payments of $1.50, and it just cracked me up. I posted on LinkedIn. That was really funny. So guys, if you want to check that out, the website for Kevin is clientcloningsystems.com. I think there's a handful of people on probably or watching this, Kevin, who could benefit from your services, which in a nutshell, you kind of help people come up with a plan for generating more business out of the business they already have. Is that a fair thing to say?
It includes client acquisition in many cases. So it's copywriting. We can do where I can almost always find success is if you have any kind of a prospect list now and you've got their mailing addresses, we can go after the new offer. So we always start with the mailing list you have now. That includes your current clients and your current prospects. That's where we can get some really low hanging fruit. But then I work with some really good partners to rent mailing lists and to do direct mail campaigns. And of course, I do email. Of course, I do web pages. That's where I started. But it's online and offline because you really have to do both.
Yeah, I agree. When you do both, it just compounds the effect of both sides. It really does, guys. If you're not mailing alongside your digital efforts, it's really game changing. Yeah. So thank you, Kevin, for being on today. We don't need to keep more of your time or anybody's time than is necessary. I don't see many questions, but everybody who is here hung out for a while. So I assume that means you guys like this on some level. Comment down below if you're watching the replay. Check out clientcloningsystems.com and thepaperemail.com. And definitely, follow Kevin on LinkedIn too. Look up Kevin Donlin on LinkedIn. He's a fun follow if you're a LinkedIner. So thanks again, Kevin.
Thank you, Ryan. It was a pleasure. Hope to do this again soon.
Yeah, we will. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Have a good one.